All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for hopping on. Welcome to our team call. I am recording this, so it'll be posted in the team page, but I hope everyone has a notebook out. I hope they have a pen or a pencil out because smart people take notes. So I hope you guys are taking notes because Cassie and I have prepared a lot for you guys, and I'm really excited to share it. So the way this is going to go, Cassie will introduce herself afterwards. I'm going to speak for the first half, and then she's going to speak for the second half. It's just going to be like 30 minutes. But we wanted to kind of split it up because we have like a lot of content and we want to share a lot with you guys. And then we also want to give you like some action items as well. So obviously you can, do something with all this information that we're going to pour over you guys. But my name's Carly, for any of Cassie's team who don't know me. I am the CEO and founder of Team Root to Rise, and I'm just so happy to share this. So I'm actually going to exit out of this screen. We'll have time for questions at the end. But I have a whole page of notes that I'm going to just kind of read from. So I'm not going to see the chat like right away, but afterwards, if you guys have questions, you can definitely ask me questions. So I'm just going to switch screens here, and we'll get started. All right, so today we want to talk about social media, the power of social media, and really what Cassie and I have learned by, seriously guys, by failing forward the last, year and a half that we've both been coaches. We kind of started around the same time. I've been coaching a little bit longer than Cassie, but it's really easy to look at people who are like have more followers on Instagram and assume, okay, like they're just better at it than me, or like they just know more than I do, or they just are able to talk to people so much better. Like the more successful you are in this business, I promise you, the more failure you're going to have. So if you're failing, it's okay. You're moving forward. You're learning what to do and what not to do. But today we're really going to dive into social media and ways that you can just be your authentic self and not worry about like Success Club points or recruiting a coach or, being successful as a coach. It's like social media should be fun. And for me, it's so much fun now. I can honestly say, you guys, I hit Success Club like the first week of the month so easily like nowadays, just because I've built my platform to be this place where I just authentically share. I'm myself, so people can really, create a relationship with me as a human being outside of Beachbody, outside of the fact that I'm a coach, outside of the fact that I can help them in their health and fitness journey. People just know me because I've opened my heart up to people through Instagram. And guys, I was so afraid at first. And if you guys are afraid of social media, you're afraid of sharing your heart, or you're afraid that, you don't have anything to share with the world, a book that I'd highly recommend is called Big Magic by Liz Gilbert. And I've quoted her a lot on my team calls, but she presents this idea of, there's so many places for us to grow and there's so much room for people to be successful. We have to get over our fear of, thinking about what other people are thinking of us, because honestly, nobody cares. Like, I think the most freeing thing that I ever kind of realized from social media is like people care about me, but they don't care about me as much as we put like that emphasis on, we wrap it up in our minds and we think about what people are going to think about us. And the more I've been able to set that aside, share who I am, share my imperfections, a lot of my imperfections and the things that I struggle with daily, that's when people really connect with me. And honestly, like last week I was having a really shitty day and I shared the fact that I had a really shitty day, and that post reached more people than like any other post that I had posted all week, because I just literally, it was like the biggest run-on sentence ever. I shared with everybody that I was having a crappy day. I got like 50 comments on it. I got so many DMs about the fact that, hey girl, I'm struggling too. It's okay. Like I feel you. And it was because I was raw and authentic and real. And we don't want to be those people on social media that are pretending to have these perfect lives, because it's not fun. And that's not what we do as coaches. Like, I'm so proud to be a coach because I get to share my authentic journey and I get to show people like the real part of life, not this highlight reel, like the good and the bad stuff. But overall, like social media is tough, and really what it comes down to is you have to be willing to outwork the competition. So especially on social media. So success in coaching is 100% based on whether you want it bad enough. And it really does start with social media, and it really does start with your ability to build your platform. And I know we get wrapped up in followers, and I'm not saying that the amount of followers is everything, but it is a really, really big part of your business. The more followers you have, the more influence you have, or the ability to influence people that you have. So, my success has definitely increased the more people I've been able to influence, which is directly reflective on how many people that I can get to my platform and follow my journey, and then really, really create a relationship with me. Before I dive in any more into this, I really want to talk about the social team builder training that I posted in my team page. I think Cassie talked about it too, and we're going to share it in the team pages after this call as well. But the social team builder training is literally what we're basing this entire social media training on, and it's amazing. It's all about being authentic. It's not about, reaching out and asking people to join a challenge group. It's about the idea that if you create your social media platform smart enough, people will come to you and people will love you and want your help on fitness, on literally anything, if you can instill enough trust in them. And we instill trust in people when we share, our story outside of our workouts, outside of Shakeology, outside of Beachbody. So we'll be sharing that. So keep a lookout on that. But yeah, the social team builder training is awesome. So stop being afraid was number one. And then number two is your story really will heal people and your story will connect with people, but only if you're vulnerable enough to share it. So you really have to share the things outside of social media. And then the other thing is the success curve of social media is really, really slow, but it does get easier. And that's something that we wanted to talk about today. So like I said, it's a lot. Like I can honestly say it's pretty easy for me to hit Success Club 10 plus, like the first couple weeks into into the month, because I've been able to build my platform, but it did start really, really slow. A year and a half ago, I started with like 500 followers. And it took about 12 months of me really getting used to like building my platform and, finding more people to like connect with me. But once I would say, you guys, and this could be like a goal for you guys, is once I hit kind of like that 1,000 followers threshold, I felt like my account started to build that momentum. And it's kind of like the momentum in our businesses as well, right? Like once you start creating that team page and you see the success of your other coaches and they start to grow and you start to grow alongside them, like there's this compounding effect that happens. And it really starts to get easier. But those first couple, months or, year or so as a coach, when you don't have that many people to influence on your social media, it can be really, really tough. And that's why we're recommending, dive into trainings, dive into things that are going to make your platform better, where you can learn and you can educate yourself. Let's see. Sorry, I get really ahead of myself, especially with social media, because I love it. But I wanted to share something out of my PD book that I was reading today, because I think a lot of the times people, you sign up as a coach and then you're like, okay, I need to get people to join my challenge group. But what if we like looked at it the other way around and we're like, okay, let's hone into our skills, think about what we're good at and what we're not good at. And sometimes you really need to sharpen your skills on social media. Let's own our social media platforms and get really good at sharing our story. And then naturally we're going to be able to connect with people and hit those Success Club numbers and recruit people to our team, because people love us. So our social media platform should be a place where you are, encouraging people and showing people or encouraging people to love you, and they can only love you if they hear your whole story. But I don't know if this is really cheesy, but I'm gonna read something from my personal development book, so whatever. So this is like the chapter I was reading yesterday, actually, and it's talking about investing in yourself. And it says, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. The greatest gift you could ever give yourself is also the wisest business investment you could ever make. It is also the most critical step in accomplishing any challenging task, and it is the one step without which all other success strategies, no matter how brilliant or time-tested, are doomed to fail. What is this mysterious gift? It is your own personal development, investing in your own improvement. So we can talk about our own improvement on our social media because it's our own story. It's our ability to share what makes us us. So give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, goes the quote attributed to Abraham Lincoln, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe, which left just 2 hours to do the actual chopping. And guys, this is so applicable to our business, because if you own your social media and you know how to share your story, like recruiting to your team will be so much easier. Getting Success Club points will be so much easier. Finding success in this business will be so much easier if you learn how to share your story outside of Shakeology, outside of your 30-minute workouts, outside of Beachbody. So I guess, yeah, I won't read anymore, but it's just that idea of, taking a step back, because I feel like we get so wound up in, oh my gosh, how am I going to hit Success Club 5 plus, or how am I going to hit Success Club 10 plus? Like, what if we took a step back from that? Those are vital. If you're not hitting them, you definitely need to. But what if you took a step back and was like, okay, what can I do on my platform differently that will resonate on a deeper level with people? This is something that, I don't know if you guys know Short Girl Fitness, but Sammy Blahnik, this is what she did for like the first part of her, like she started like a little bit slower as a coach, but she really dove into social media. And she says it's probably one of the smartest things that she ever did. She really figured out how to build a brand, share her journey and be her on her platform. And she created that following. So then when she really like exploded with like coaching and like this opportunity of the business, she had that trust with people. Because if you sign up as a coach and all of a sudden you're like, join my challenge group, people are going to be like, what the hell, girl? Like, that's not the person that I've known the past 6, 8, 12 months. Like, what do you mean join my challenge group? What about like every other facet of your life? So I want you guys to do a little action item here. I don't know, I guess, yeah, you guys are probably taking notes, but this is something that I want you guys to just kind of like check. So if you were to take the last, if you were to look at the last 10 posts in your Instagram and you took out every single thing that had to do with Shakeology, Beachbody, 30-minute workouts, coaching, the business model, if you were to take out anything that had to do with those types of things in your last 10 posts on social media, what would be left outside of that Beachbody stuff? Like what would really, be on your platform or still like survive on your platform if you were to take out coaching, if you were to take out, your workouts or whatever. And like I said, again, I'm probably just like a broken record right now, but the most profitable thing that you can do is be yourself. And that is enough value all in itself. So what I do and what you guys can do is write a list. Like usually I do a list 1 through 10. I did this when I first started off as a coach, and I started listing things that make me me. And yes, I'm a yoga teacher, so I wrote that down, but there's other things that make me me outside of being a yoga teacher and a fitness coach. So I'm going to actually give you guys a couple minutes here to do that. So I want you guys to do either you can do a list 1 through 10, or you can just start writing things that have to do with you. It's almost like a brain dump. So my things were my dog Oliver, yoga, my long hair, tiny home living, Kevin, my faith, my family, Pacific Northwest adventures, living on the lake, dock yoga or doing yoga out on the dock, fashion, my love for coffee, Starbucks, food, pizza. Those are just a couple of things that make me me. And if you guys listen to that list, it has nothing to do with me, or it has nothing to do with Beachbody and everything to do with me. So really being able to influence people on that level, those are the types of conversations that I have with people now on Instagram and Facebook, and when I connect or when I'm reaching out to people. I have conversations about Oliver. I have conversations about, I have conversations about yoga. I have conversations about my long hair. I have conversations about the yoga pants that I'm wearing. And those things that I've been able to connect with people on naturally transitions into fitness, naturally transitions into what I do for a living, but it never starts like that. I'm never like, hey, do you want to join my challenge group? No, we talk about the fact that we both have black labs, or we talk about the fact that, we both think Lululemon is really expensive, but it's also worth it. It's our favorite brand. So it's really important to dive into what makes you, you. And I promise you guys will have so much more fun with social media when you start sharing those things that just speak to your heart, because I think a lot of the times we have this pressure. We're like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted today. Oh my gosh, I haven't invited to my challenge group, or I haven't done this yet. And if we're really open about just sharing our day-to-day lives and documenting our journey with who we are, I don't think anybody on this team is a full-time coach. So there's so many other things that that are a part of your life that are outside of coaching. There should be no reason that a majority of your posts should be about coaching. A majority of your posts should be about your life. And then you can integrate coaching into every single one of those. And I had a perfect example of one that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm almost done. I'm going to let Cassie go. But this is an awesome one that doesn't really talk about coaching as much, but it's subtle. So I'm working from Wi-Fi. I'm hanging out with Kev. I'm reading my PD book. I'm checking into my challenge group. It's all of those things, but the actual, I don't know. Yeah. So the actual post itself is it's not me inviting to a challenge group, or it's not me asking if you want to join my fitness group, or you want to, I can't remember what the exact comment was on it, but it was talking about how I went to a yoga class that day, and I'm going to visit Kev at Starbucks because he gives me free drinks. And then I was like, oh, and by the way, Kylie shared some tips on how to stay on track on the weekend. Oh, and I also brought carrots with me to snack on while I'm sitting here. And so there's these really casual plugs about coaching. And I think I did it the other day as well when I was sleeping in. I was slept in, woke up with 2 dogs on top of me, a little off on my routine, but good thing I work from home. So those little snippets of coaching, that's curiosity marketing, and that's going to get people really interested in what you're doing without being like, you should join my challenge group, because people don't even know what a challenge group is. You know what I mean? So adding in those little things throughout your day, and you can add in coaching, like, little curiosity marketing about coaching into every single post, right? So, when you're talking about an awesome recipe that you made, at the end of it, you can say, I love eating according to, colors instead of having to count calories or this or that. So adding in about coaching in every single post, but not talking about coaching directly in every single post, like still just talking about your life and your brand and what you really, represent, I think really helps me. And it makes it a lot easier, because I just share my journey. I just share what I'm doing every single day. I just share. And okay, hold on guys. I have to look at my notes because I'm like going way off track here. Yeah, so your ability to influence people will directly reflect your success in this business, because when people reach out to me about their fitness, they already have massive trust and connection with me, and there's relationships that have been built with me outside of coaching, and they love me for like what I stand for or what I believe in, or because of something that we've talked about that's outside of that. Because honestly, guys, it's all about your platform and your ability to influence people, because the honest truth is, like, you're gonna run out of your warm market. Like I said before, like my initial emerald was my mom and my sister, or my mom and my aunt. You will run out of people to talk to if you do not continue to expand your market of influence, which is aka you're following on Instagram and you're following on your Facebook like page. And I think that's, yeah. So, oh gosh, yeah, I really went off. But yeah, so basically just making people love you and finding people that you love makes those conversations like so much more, in depth and so much more fun. And the biggest thing that I could say is stop thinking about having to post and just sharing your life, whatever you are doing every single day. So just getting like really real on like who you are. Like I really like to talk to yoga teachers who are struggling to, make an income from just teaching, 15 to 20 yoga classes every single day, and, barely being able to, pay their rent or whatever. Like that's my market. That's my type of people. Obviously I have coaches that aren't yoga teachers. Obviously I have coaches that, aren't specific to that target market, but like those are the people that I really want to like connect with, because I just have so much more fun talking to people who have those same types of interests and passions as me. And then when I talk to them, it's so much easier, and we already like are on the same playing field on all of these different like levels. So then we do start talking about things, and whatever your job is, whether you're a teacher or, you're a server or you're a student or whatever, like talk to those students, talk to those servers, talk to, what else? If you're a firefighter, like talk to the firefighters. And if you think about it, like Beachbody is huge. Like there's so many people like that you could connect to, and you would have so much fun if you could connect to those people. If you're just marketing to everybody and you're like, everybody needs to be happy, everybody needs to be healthy, everybody needs to be happy and fit, it's like you're going to have all these people on your team that are like from all different like walks of life, which is awesome, but it's not as fun if you're not really connecting with people who are similar to you. So that's basically what I have. That was me trying to like condense the team builder training into like a little short 15 minutes. But I would really encourage you guys to do that training. We're going to share it on the team call or in the team page. So I'm going to let Cassie kind of take over. And I hope that I didn't just like really ramble. Guys, I just finished working out. I'm like on a high right now.
Okay, well, I'm going to follow that up with not being on a high. I am very sick, so I apologize ahead of time. This is my first time I've gotten out of bed and I haven't eaten anything, but I'm not missing this call. So I'm normally very energetic, I promise. But I do have really good stuff, I think, still. So please have a pen and paper, because I'm all about action items. I think it's one thing to be told what to do. That's not the way my brain works. I needed somebody to be like, do this. And if you tell me what to do, I'll do it. But I didn't really know what to do. So I'm going to have some action items here. So first of all, if you are telling yourself that because you don't have tons of followers, you can't make this work, you are setting yourself up for failure, and it's also not true. I think it's great that Carly and I are success partners, because Carly has twice, if more than twice as many Instagram followers than me, a lot more. And I have still been successful, and I will continue to be so, because it's a choice. You can either decide to let that be a limiting factor or not. So every moment, you know, not to get super spiritual, but you can choose love or fear. And so just decide every day, even if it's every day you have to remind yourself, every coach starts at 0. Don't go towards love, or go towards love. Don't choose fear. Choose love, and understand that it doesn't really matter. It's quality over quantity, okay? Because I don't have that huge following that she has. The other thing I was going to say was, I know we say this all the time, but you guys have to like write it down, or I don't know, never forget. Don't compare yourself to others. You know, it'd be really easy for me to compare myself to Carly or to somebody else, you know, Amy, somebody else who started at the same time as me, but they don't have my life. They don't have my journey. They don't work my job. You know, everybody has different circumstances. So my first action item for you today is, and I'm being serious, I really want you guys to do this. Please go unfollow every single coach you're following that isn't your personally sponsored coaches or your upline, if you haven't already. And I tell my coaches this till I'm blue in the face, and I hope they listen. But unfollow everybody, because guys, if you're following them, you might not realize it, but you're going to start posting like them. And when you start posting like them, you're not you, you're them. And you're becoming the C of a Beachbody coach. And people want you. So that's very freeing, right? So go through it and unfollow every single coach. Another tip is don't overthink your posts. And don't make it all about you. That's kind of goes hand in hand. We all get there where we're like, oh my God, I wonder if anybody's going to like this post. Is anybody going to like me if I post this? Is anybody going to think this post is inspiring? And those are good questions to ask yourself, because obviously you want to appeal to the people following you, but don't overthink it to the point where you're paralyzed. And we've all been there. And then you just don't post at all, or you only post once a day. So that's another tip. The other, excuse me. The next thing is you need variety, consistency, and relevance. Don't just post photos, you guys, that are, you know, flashback Friday photos, or photos from your wedding album only, or photos that were taken last week. It's important. You can throw those in. Everybody has stock photos, and I have lots of wedding pictures. But guys, that's not your everyday life. It doesn't really connect with people. So you can sprinkle those in, but you need variety and relevance. Like, is this even relevant to your day, or are you just posting a picture that you had of you that was good from a year ago because you don't have a picture? And that happens to all of us, I understand. But when I first started coaching, I was taking pictures every single week. I didn't have anybody take them for me. I had to go to the park with my tripod. I didn't care who saw me. I didn't care if anybody thought I was weird. I was taking pictures with my tripod because I needed content for the days like that where I'm busy. I work full time. You know, and then you get sick and you need something to post. So it's not, I'm not saying don't, but just make sure that you're mixing it up. Maybe do like a flashback picture like twice a month tops. So another tip for the variety is you need most of your pictures to be you. And I think new coaches really, really underestimate the power of this. And I remember telling my coach, Jamie, I was like, I really don't want all my pictures to be me. Like I said that. I was like, people are going to think I'm conceited. That's not my personality. I just don't. And she was like, girl, you have to. I'm telling you, you have to make most of your pictures, like 90% of your page needs to be you, because you're the brand. You're the face of the brand. And nobody's going to think you're conceited. And it might be weird at first, but you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. People want to come to your Instagram and see your face, not your face every 4 or 5 pictures. They want to see your face every single day. And I don't want that to intimidate you. That's just the reality. You guys are beautiful. Just be bold and be okay with who you are, and share lots of pictures of you. And again, variety is key. So don't make them all like selfies, right? Like, be doing other things, but you need to be in a lot of your pictures. Another tip that kind of Carly touched on was share your story, but meet people where they're at. You guys don't have to portray this image that you're some amazing fitness coach who never eats poorly and never gains weight. In fact, if you do that, nobody's going to relate to you. And I've fallen into this trap a lot. And I always have to remind myself, it's okay if I tell them I gained a couple pounds back, or it's okay if I tell them I'm buying 3 different Halo Top flavors and I'm going to come home and I'm going to try them all. And I did. And everybody liked that post. It blew up because it's just the reality. So just be yourself. Again, I know we've said that, but it's like, it's so freeing. And I think I wish somebody had told me that. I wish somebody had told me my first whole year of coaching, just be you. And once I started being me, I attracted coaches on my team who are like me. They like the fuck bomb. They like dogs. They like adventure. You know, they're not afraid to be themselves and be kind of like tough love. So just know that we're giving you permission. Like, go be yourself. Now I have action items for real. Holy crap, my head hurts. Okay, so first, these are some things that are going to help you with social media content development, okay? This is an action item that you can go to this list, I have mine written out, and look at when you don't know what to post, okay? So for the first thing, I want you to write, what makes you special or unique? So it can be anything at all. Maybe you can hummel, which is where you whistle and you hummel. Like, that's so random. My husband's really good at it. I suck. You know, so some of the things that I put for what makes me special or unique is I sing. I can do the Cup song from, I can't remember the name of the movie, but you guys know the Cup song. I'm really out of it. I love cleaning, which I feel like is kind of weird. I cry every single time I see a picture of a dog or a puppy. I cry. I love bargain shopping, but I kind of hate shopping, so the only place I go is Kohl's. I'm addicted to Amazon Prime. I'm a PADI certified scuba diver. So some of those things that are special and unique about me are not really that unique. Like, a lot of girls cry when they see dogs, right? That's, at least I hope so. And a lot of girls are really addicted to Amazon Prime, but they're still unique about me, you know? So that's the first list. And if you don't have time to write it now, just go back and write them later. Second list is, what have I overcome? What have you overcome, guys? We've all overcome something, and it doesn't have to be. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking that your story of what you overcome isn't good enough, because that couldn't be further from the truth. So you don't have to overcome, you know, a parent dying, or, you know, an eating disorder or anxiety to relate to people. Maybe you just overcame the fact that for the first time in your life, you went to dinner and you actually ordered something that was healthy, you know, like, that's something that's really hard for people. So, what have you overcome? And always sprinkle those in. And then the third list I want you to make is, what is normal about me? So don't just post like the highlight reel, because that's not reality. What's normal about you guys? You have things about you that everybody else has about them. So my whole team is pretty much obsessed with coffee, because I swear every other post is about coffee, and I don't care. That's me. That's normal about me. Another thing is, I have a major sweet tooth. Well, so do lots of people. My third one, hate doing laundry. Does that have to do with anything coaching? No, but somebody, if I posted something saying like, you know, here's me in my laundry room, this is my Monday night after a team call or something like that, people are going to be like, oh, you know, she actually does laundry. Her life isn't perfect. It's okay. And then another thing that's normal about me is I love trash TV. I don't watch it very much. I pretty much have given it up for, you know, my goals, but I watch it when I'm sick, and I watch Real Housewives, and I'm not afraid to tell people that. I've actually recruited a coach on my team who I love, because I saw that she posted a picture about Real Housewives, and I was like, that's my girl. Like, you're my girl. We get along super, super well. So sharing those things about you that are totally normal. And if that was fast or you need me to repeat, let me know. But, and you don't, I suggest you don't write these all right now. Like, take your time and write them out when you get a moment. But those are the three. What makes you special and unique? What have you overcome? What is totally normal about you? And that's it. Like, that's what you share. Pair it with a good picture, because Instagram especially, like, nobody's going to read what you wrote if you don't have a scroll stopping picture. So make sure the picture's good. But other than that, you don't need to overthink it. Like, those are pretty simple things. So my next thing I wanted to say, and this is again an action item, is you can't just go throwing shit, and I've done this and I still struggle, but it really helps to have a social media plan and a marketing plan. And I know that sounds like scary and really hard. It's really not. I just want you guys to think, don't just go throwing posts hoping that something happens. Be extremely strategic about certain posts. Like, if I post a call to action, I'm not going to post it at Saturday at 8 a.m., you guys, like, or Friday night at 5 p.m. Nobody's reading or caring about their health at Friday at 5 p.m. So be aware of when you're posting and be smart about it. Call to actions for me, the only night they seem to do really well is Wednesday at like 6 p.m. So that's my thing. So be strategic and have a marketing plan. And the way you develop that is, it's very simple. Please don't panic. I just want you to know all you have to do is, today's the first of the month. Schedule out your month, which you should be doing. So you should know when your free group is running, when your challenge group is running, and if you have coach previews, which you should if you're a business builder, when those are running. That's it. Put those on your calendar, and then just make sure that when those are coming up, you post for those. You got to post for what you want. If you want challengers and you're spending 3 weeks, all you talk about is coaching, you're going to be in a pickle. And I know that because that was me this month. I spent all last month just talking about coaching, and I kind of forgot about my fitness journey. And because of that, you know, the applications and the people I'm reaching out to is going to be more work. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to hit it or, you know, make an excuse. It just, it's good to keep those kinds of things in mind so that you're posting for what you want. So where was I at? So, okay, I don't know how much you guys are posting a day. Maybe you're just doing one really dope ass post on Instagram a day. And I think that's a really, really good start for new coaches. But as you start to build a business, I do urge you to get out your comfort zone, work a little harder, and do like 2 to 3 times a day if you can. I know if you have a smaller Instagram following, you don't have to do as many because they're going to see it more. But for when you're posting, this is kind of like just a general guideline again. Post at least 1 time a day about the business if you can. Post 1 time a day about one of your vitals, and then make the rest of the post stuff about you. And you can sprinkle in, you know, your vitals, and you can sprinkle in coaching and those things. But if every day you only post once, think about the fact that you're not going to have much time to talk about you, because you have to get that post about, you know, how you did your workout in, or you have to get that post about coaching in. So those are some things that might help you with posting. Hold on, holy crap, it's so hot in here. So again, your social media is the compound effect. So it's the compound effect. Like, just remember that. And if you haven't read The Compound Effect, please read it. But, you know, everybody starts with 0 coaches, and it takes consistency and hard work. I've never had a social media that just blew up, you know, and I've been coaching just as long as Carly, and hers is like I said, way bigger than mine. Do I sit there and pout about it or let it be a thing that mentally holds me back? Absolutely not. I have in the past. That's why I'm telling you, it will stop you in your tracks. You cannot move forward when you're in that mental space. I know, because my team was stopped for like months, and it was because I couldn't stop comparing myself to these people who started when I did. But Carly started day 1 as a business builder. I did not. So I cannot compare myself to her journey. So it's the compound effect. Be patient, be consistent. Don't ever think, this is another good tip, don't ever think you've shared your story too much, because you can't. So don't be like, oh, I can't talk about how I struggled with, you know, losing my first 15 pounds again. I talked about that 3 weeks ago. Or I can't talk about my anxiety again because I posted about that last week. Yes, you don't want to be constantly just like, you know, sharing these really intense stories, but you do want to share them, and it's okay if you've shared it. I've shared my struggles with anxiety so many times, and it's not repetitive. You always get new followers. You have to keep sharing your story. Once isn't good enough. Y'all need to share it multiple times every single week, and you'll have different stories. I've overcome anxiety, and eating disorder, and abusive relationship I was in, my own self-belief and lack thereof. I've overcome my ability, you know, my struggle with losing my grad school weight. Like, so you'll have different things you've overcome. So sprinkle those in. I hope this is making sense. Okay, my head hurts so bad. I'm sorry. This is so random, but guys, if you're posting a before and after, make sure the before picture is on the left side. Biggest pet peeve of all time. So like, if you're looking at your phone, the before needs to be on the left, the after needs to be on the right. I know that's like a random tip, but it works. It's helpful. Okay, and another action item, and then we're almost done. And this one's going to be really helpful too for sharing your story, because you can't share your story if you're not really sure what your story is. And that happens. Like, it takes a while to find your story. So to help you do that, I want you to just write down, first, what are your pain points? Like, what problem did coaching or Beachbody solve for you? So maybe coaching, you know, solved your problem of not having very many friends who were supportive. That was me. I needed girlfriends who were freaking nice and didn't just party all the time. And those people are great. They're still my friends, but it's just, I want to be around empowering women. So that drew me to coaching. Another thing that drew me to coaching was financial freedom. I'm almost 100,000 in student loan debt. Like, I need to get out. It's, you know, and I know a lot of you guys can relate. So that's a pain point for you. So first, write down what attracted you to coaching. Then write down what attracted you to Beachbody or the fitness side, because you're going to have stories for each. And that's it. Those are your pain points. Those are the things you're going to share your story about. And thus you're going to attract people who can relate. Because I will never be able to attract somebody who lost 100 or needs to lose 100 pounds, at least not purposefully, because that's not my story. And to try and talk to that person is such a waste of my time, because they're not going to get me. And I truly haven't walked in their shoes. So write those things down. Those are your story. And then I promise I'm almost done. If someone doesn't like you or they unfollow you, please don't think it's because you did something wrong. It's just because that person isn't part of your tribe. I have tons of people unfollow me, and tons of people who, you know, don't like what I post and don't want any part of what I do, and that's okay. And I think learning to be okay with that is really going to give you freedom to be yourself. And just know, if they unfollow you, those aren't your people. Like, I'm actually grateful when somebody unfollows me because they don't like something I posted, because that means it's one less reach out I do that's a waste of my time, and one less person on my page who isn't with my tribe. You know what I mean? So I'm not wasting time talking to people who don't get me. So be okay. Weed out the ones who don't get you. Don't worry about it. If you're being truly your authentic self and they unfollow you, that's probably a good thing, because you're making room for the people who do get you. And lastly, I think this is the last point, we've all made these mistakes that we're talking about. And that's why Carly always tells you guys, fail forward. Success happens when you fail, and you fail often, and you're willing to fail at a quicker speed, then it'll come quicker, right? Like, just be willing to fail miserably over and over and over again. Every month I'm trying at least one new thing, a new type of free group, a new prep party for my challenge group to get people in it, a new type of training. Just try new things and understand that failure is not failure like we were taught. It's just a stepping stone to success. It's all in your mindset. It's deciding, okay, that didn't really work. Let's see what can work next time. So when you're posting, and if you post a call to action, it doesn't work, you might have picked the wrong time. Maybe you should have picked a better picture. Maybe you need to change your wording. It's not a big deal, because you could just go do it again. Like, and if you really want to, I delete stuff all the time if I'm like, oh, that was dumb, It happens, mistake happens. So